I'm Leon, and today we're going to take a look at the Dart Zone or Adventure Force Lancer, a minigun of sorts that's pretty good for especially newer Nerfers. Let's talk about it. The Dart Zone or Adventure Force. Adventure Force is the line this is under, but it is by Dart Zone. Lancer is a 10-round Springer blaster that is in the shape of a minigun, and as such is balanced to be a much more hip-fire-oriented blaster than a blaster that, well, is meant to be aimed down sights. It's still pretty cool and has a lot of merit to it, but, well, it's super solid. So I'll go ahead and I'll talk about the front barrel. Even though it looks like this whole thing is part of the barrel, just this bit here moves. And it's a front loader, so you can go ahead and you can take your darts and load them in like this. This blaster does rotate on prime, so you can go ahead and you can put the sort of darts and stuff into place, which is pretty cool. And then you can see that there's one here, so I'll go ahead and fire. Except the top one didn't fire, the bottom one fired. This blaster fires from the bottom cylinder. It just kind of affects your balancing more, but once you get like your first couple of shots or calibration shots down, you'll definitely get used to it. I think maybe only blasters with cylinders built on the top did this. I'm not sure why it's doing this, but you know what, that's okay. Another bonus is with the priming handle, which is this top carry handle here, you can actually go ahead and rotate the cylinders into place, and then you can fire. So if you happen to have a dart that you need to fire, go ahead and do that. Speaking of darts, the included darts are the regular Dart Zone Adventure Force Super Darts, the Dart Zone Waffletips. They're great darts, so you know what, I'm fine that they're here. Blaster only comes with 10 of them, so definitely pick your poison with it, but it's fine. I think it's a decently value-friendly package anyways, so 10 darts for the 10-round blaster is not a bad thing. Priming handle I already sort of touched on, but I do want to talk about one thing. The prime weight is exceptionally light, like really lightweight, and I think this is exceptionally good for younger Nerfers. This is a very younger, first Nerf blaster kind of audience here, and us older Nerfers probably don't need this thing. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't really need that thing. But younger Nerfers and newer Nerfers, yeah, they want this thing. This is a extremely entry-level friendly, don't need to worry about aiming, manageable capacity. This whole blaster just screams, it's for newer Nerfers, and it's not like they're going to compromise anything besides maybe that aiming, because it still shoots decently hard. It's a, well, like 70, 80 FPS shooting blaster, and that's super good to see. Then we'll talk about customization real quick. This blaster only really has a top rail, which you can go ahead and attach your Nerf attachments to. Said you can attach your Nerf attachments to it. Hold on real quick. I'm not going to damage my red dot anymore, but no matter what attachment I've tried, Dart Zone or Nerf, this rail just seems to be a little too big. Like it's a cosmetic choice. It looks the exact same as something that would be on the Thunderbolt or Spectrum, but it's different and doesn't work with any attachments I've thrown on it. You can maybe get away with something that has the tightening thing, like the Battle Scout camera, but I don't know the last time somebody wanted to use the Battle Scout camera. I don't know. So it's there for cosmetic reasons. You're not going to be aiming down a sight anyways. This is a pretty hip-fire, run-and-gun style of blaster. So, hey, you know what? Whatever. I'll go ahead and I'll talk about the grip real quick. Once again, this is a blaster for younger Nerfers. I do not really like this grip. Trigger kind of gets the top of my finger. I can't really get my entire hand comfortably on this grip. Hip firing for me, unless I'm really outstretched, doesn't really feel too good. ADSing doesn't really feel too good. It's too hard on my wrist. That being said, I'm not the target audience, and most older Nerfers aren't either. This is for younger Nerfers, and I can't stress that enough. It's for younger Nerfers. So I'm going to say, for those people, and I do have a way to test that, this is exceptionally good. This front grip, which is also too small for my hand, is exceptionally good for them, and this back grip is exceptionally good for them. So smaller Nerfers, younger Nerfers, fantastic. Older Nerfers, not super comfortable. Not a deal breaker. This blaster's super lightweight anyways, but it's there. There's also a sling attachment, just in case you wanted to have this on your hip instead of like a Trailblazer or something. I don't really know why, but it's there. It's a cool option. So, okay, sure. One of the other things you'll see is I constantly like to put my hand here. If I happen to be playing this in a much slower, methodical kind of way, I'll actually play it like this, which isn't too bad. And I'll talk about another bonus after I go ahead and load it. This blaster is slam fire enabled. So hold down the trigger, hold back the priming handle, then it will fling a round down range at a decently higher force than its regular shooting, it feels. I don't know. One important note on the slam fire. You cannot go too fast. You have to fully return the priming handle to the front, and you have to kind of be consistent with your motions. Otherwise, your cylinder won't be able to catch up to how fast you're moving. So, this is not a, I'm going to send 10 rounds extremely fast down range kind of blaster. This is a, even with slam fire, be consistent about it. Not a deal breaker by any means. Just don't move too terribly fast with this thing and you'll be okay. But truthfully, that's really all I can say on the Lancer. So let's see it on the range. Starting with a full cylinder of Dart Zone Super Darts, then honestly just move into a pocket full of whatever. Slam fire. Another 10 slam fire really fast and see if I could replicate that instantly. Yeah, going too fast. And you'll have a lot of issues. Good to know. For a $15 blaster, to have 10 shots and a really comfortable prime weight, if you're a younger nerfer or smaller nerfer, you'll have a good time. It's a pretty fantastic blaster and a nice little offering for those who want something that just kind of plays casually. Don't have to really worry about aiming. Prime weight's super comfortable, manageable capacity, especially for those first-time new players, because 10 is a really solid capacity to be at. It's super solid, and I think everything presented here is really fair. The Lancer provides a nice package. Speaking of packaging, this blaster does not need to be removed from the packaging to be played in the game. The packaging is just kind of a cardboard sled that the blaster sits on with a nice little try me thing on the side. You can actually test out the priming handle in store for yourself. Horrific for managing blasters since you shouldn't store them primed, but as a bonus, I guess you can go ahead and, you know, play with it with the box. I'm sure there's one person who would like that. For older nerfers, you don't need it. Unless this speaks to you and you're okay with the tiny minigun, you can skip it. Although, if you happen to be considering a minigun, check out the V-Twin. The V-Twin is a $30 flywheel chain-fed minigun that's actually more true to form. I don't have a review on it. I can review it if you guys like, but it's a really fantastic offering that, well, it's more suitable to your older, more aggressive nerfers. But yeah, that's going to be everything for my video review on the Adventure Force Lancer. I hope you enjoyed this review, and hey, younger nerfers or parents of nerfers, cheap. It's cheap, so consider it. But if you like what I do around here, do feel free to like and subscribe. Helps the channel out a bunch. And also, feel free to comment if you'd like me to review the V-Twin or anything else in particular. I've got a whole backlog of blasters, so if you want to see something older, let me know as well. I'd be more than happy to review something, even if it's not on store shelves. As always, remember, you don't have to buy it just because the reviewer told you to. Even though I've been stressing the fact that this blaster's $15 and good for new nerfers, you don't need it if you don't want it. Spend your money how you want. You don't have to buy into all the hype. And, of course, as always, take it easy. And I'll see you in whatever my next project happens to be.